me.
Okay, so something happened yesterday, and Tim Dillon and Joe Rogan were called out in a video and on Twitter by Tim Pool, and I'm a viewer of all three occasionally, and I just wanted to comment on it because I've been feeling the same way towards Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon for almost going on 2 years now, at least. You know, Joe Rogan maybe even a little longer than that. I don't like it. I don't like it when people in positions of influence and positions of, you know, power, right? If you want to use that word, I guess. But it does count, right? I know they're just comedians. They're like, oh, they're not politicians. They're not politicians. They're not positions of power. No, that's not true. That's not true, right? Regardless of whether they're just comedians, they're definitely in a position of influence, in a position of power, and they may have not wanted that, right? But guess what? That's just how it works. They may have not asked for a position of power or a position of influence, but there's no denying that pop culture has an immense level of influence on society. Pop culture shapes society 100%. That's undeniable. So, like, the one of the most popular superheroes, Spider-Man, right? What is the lesson that the most popular superhero, Spider-Man, teaches people? That you may not ask for the responsibility, but if fate chooses you and you're in a position to do something, you do it, right? That was the whole lesson that Uncle Ben gave Peter, was with great power comes great responsibility. He didn't ask for the spider to bite him, and then the spider bit him. He didn't ask for it, but it happened. And then once he's in that position, Peter Parker realized, if I'm in a position to do something and I don't do it, then I am just as culpable as the person doing the bad things, right? Like, I think, what was Tom Holland's exact words? And it was like Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh no, it was like Captain America Civil War, when he first met Tony Stark. I'm pretty sure even in that movie he said something like, you know, when the bad stuff happens and I can do something about it and I don't, then I'm guilty, right? That's the whole lesson, right? That's the whole lesson. So some of these sycophantic fans may want to dismiss what I'm saying and say, oh, they're just comedians, they're not politicians, right? That's dumb. And we'll get into that. I can't stand sycophants. All right, but let's jump into it. So yesterday, Tim Pool made a video and tweeted that comedian and SNL alum Jim Breuer cancels shows at venues requiring the poke. All right. So and he quote tweeted Tim Dillon. He's like, Tim Dillon was saying, I guess Tim Dillon was getting all ready before Tim Pool even chimed in. Tim Dillon was getting backlash for performing at venues that are segregating, right? So he said, a quick note on the stuff for my more brain dead fans, already insulting his fans. I'm not requiring anything. The venues and the local governments are requiring it. To attend shows in these places, you need to show proof. If you don't want to go and listen to the podcast for free. Well, that's completely disingenuous. That's completely disingenuous because here's why. You already started the argument disingenuous, for calling your fans brain dead, right? And then on top of that, so it's a joke, you're a comedian. No, I'm sick of this crap, right? So you're insulting your fans, and then you're saying, oh, it's not me. It's not me. No, dude. We live in capitalism. You're all the time talking about capitalism on his podcast, talking about capitalism. You vote with your dollar. You vote with your dollar. You vote with your money. He's like, oh, if you don't like it, go listen to my podcast for free. Another disingenuous argument, right? Just horseshit after horseshit. Every sentence of this little tweet that Tim Dillon's made is absolute horseshit. Right? Do I agree with everything Tim Pool says? No, not all the time. No, a lot of times Tim Pool will say offhand stupid nonsense just to count. I'm not going to get into that, but like almost all the time he'll say something to like toe the line, and I don't like it. So, but that's probably because he's terrified of getting deleted off of YouTube before he has the chance to completely switch over. Anyways, back to Tim Dillon. So, if you don't like it, go listen to my podcast for free. No, dude. Your podcast is not free, right? You make at least $20K per month off of YouTube ad revenue. Once you combine the ad revenue and your merch, you make $200K a month off of your Patreon alone. You're probably looking at $220 to $250K a month income. You got $250K a month income, and that's not even without doing any gigs whatsoever. 0 gigs, doing no gigs. So it's not like it's free. It's just you're being paid for the podcast in other ways. It's not free. Anyways, moving on. So then Tim responds to another stupid argument that Tim Dillon makes. He always does this, and he always does it under the guise of joke. I'm all for jokes and everything, and that's cool. Like I would never want to cancel anyone for a joke or anything. What I don't like is when someone says something stupid but then tries to skirt it, and say, "Oh, I was just joking." Oh, you're an idiot for taking my joke seriously. No, because then this is like a game of dodge. Like, oh, it's like, just own that you said something stupid. No, I'm not for canceling someone for saying something stupid. You have every right to say something stupid, but to like dodge that, to never be humble enough to hold yourself accountable and be like, yeah, I don't know, whatever. But anyways, it's stupid. Should I boycott Texas because they banned abortion, which I don't agree with? And then Tim Pool said, LOL, what? If you were performing at an abortion clinic and they required proof of denied abortion, I will boycott you. Anyways, this is just a stupid argument. It's a completely stupid argument. Because performing the argument is, should I boycott an entire state? No, that's not the argument. No one's saying you should boycott an entire state. He's saying boycott the venues that are going to try and segregate people. Right? He's not saying boycott entire states. He's saying boycott venues that are going to segregate people. Right? So it's a false equivalence argument under the guise of joke, as always, because that's Tim Dillon's whole shtick, is lunacy and hedonism and nihilism and nothing matters, right? Gluttonous gluttonous, nothing matters. Anyways, and then he's like, and then Tim Pool's like, what's up with Joe Rogan and Madison Square Garden? Another point of hypocrisy. Both of these people, Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon, have said on their podcast they don't agree with mandated pokes. But then at the same time, they'll go and give money and revenue to these businesses that are in favor of mandated pokes. It's like, why are you you should be this is how capitalism is supposed to work. They're not willing to stand up against tyranny. Okay, well, go give your money and go give your business to companies, to venues and businesses that are willing to, right? So cancel your shows at Madison Square Garden. Cancel your shows at all these other venues that are mandating pokes, and go find someone, even if it's a small business outdoors that doesn't have a big venue, because they don't have a big enough venue and it has to be done outdoors or something. Even if it's that, right? Why are you giving money, revenue streams to these people that are going and that are doing this? Starve them of their money and say no. That's how you stand up to it. You're in a position to stand up to it, but you're not. Right? So you're saying one thing on your podcast, and then you're doing something different in real life. I've noticed this a lot with Joe Rogan, and it's like, bro, none of these people like you anyways. You think all of these people, the only people that would show up to your show at Madison Square Garden are mandated poked people, and these are all the same people that think you're an idiot and are disingenuous in their argument. They know that it's a human drug as well, but they claim it's only for horses, and they make fun of you for taking a horse drug, even though Japan has approved that as a valid treatment, and there's a human version. They're completely disingenuous in their argument, and they're feigning ignorance. They're either stupid or they're feigning ignorance. But you're gonna go ahead and give Madison Square Garden all that money, all that revenue, the city of NYC all that revenue, while they're segregating against people. It would be the same thing as if you were supporting and giving money and revenue to Jim Crow law businesses back in the 60s, right? If you were in the 60s and you were giving money and giving revenue to businesses that were segregating people, it would be the same type of thing. That's what you're doing right now. Meanwhile, you're saying how you're against it on your podcast, but you're not doing anything about it. You're in a position to do something about it, and then at the same time, it's like there's a point where you get so rich that nothing really matters, that you're so disillusioned, you're so out of touch, right? You're so disillusioned, you're so out of touch, you're so out of touch, and you know, that's what it seems like. It's like Tim Dillon and Joe Rogan are in these positions to actually do something, but they don't care. It's like what? You got more money, you got generational wealth. How much money is enough? Right, Tim Dillon, all you got is yourself. So you're more than well off. You could cancel all your gigs and still be extremely, extremely, extremely well off. Okay, anyways, let's go to Tim Dillon. So how Tim Dillon responds is,
clear your mind, remove all traces of unease and doubt, and I will tell you your future.
What the hell?
What is it, Peter?
You will die in a plane crash and be reincarnated as a prophylactic.
Sorry about this. That wasn't supposed to happen. I must have hit the kit. I must have hit the hotkey. I must have hit the hotkey. That's okay. So Tim Dillon responded how he always does, which is with ridiculousness. That's what's got it. I mean, that's what's got him as successful as he is. But my point is, and some of his sycophant fans. Oh, let's talk about sycophants. Sycophants. So a sycophant is somebody who supports someone no matter what, without question. It's a form of hero worship. It's a form of celebrity worship. It's like the Eminem song "Stan," where it's the same type of thing as like a Stan fan. It's like they can do no wrong, right? And so a lot of Tim Dillon's fans have responded like, well, why don't you get successful enough that you're in a position to boycott and take a stand for something? No, that's not how it works. All right. It's so funny that these people would say that, because these are the same liberal people that acknowledge that the system is rigged, that the only way Jeff Bezos and the Warren Buffetts of the world get to the top is either through luck or cheating. And how Tim Dillon and Joe Rogan got to where they are is not through hard work. Right? It's not through hard work. The stars have to align, right? Yes, you have to show up. Yes, you have to work hard. Yes, you have to work hard, show up, da 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 da. But also, you need the stars to align, right? You need the stars to align. And it's like Two-Face says, blind, stupid, doodah luck, right? That's what Two-Face always says. That's why he's obsessed with the coin flip. But anyways, my point is that you, on these podcasts, on Joe Rogan's podcasts, on Tim Dillon's podcasts, on all these other comedians' podcasts, they acknowledge and they talk about all the time. They talk about all these comedians that they know of that are really, really good and really, really funny, but never made it to that level of success and never got discovered and never made it to where they're at, because something that they're always on the brink of touching on but never quite actually acknowledge is that, guess what? There's a huge luck factor involved, but there's a cognitive dissonance involved where they're not able to acknowledge that the only reason they're so successful is because of the huge luck factor involved, right? And that's why they're so puzzled by their friends that are equally, or if not more talented than them, that just never made it, right? They'll sit there and have these discussions on these podcasts about how, what a conundrum. I wonder why that guy never made it. Well, because there's a huge luck factor involved. That's why he never made it. Or he didn't know the right people. Or he wasn't nepotistically friends with the right people. There's all sorts of luck and nepotism involved in your success, but you don't acknowledge that. So anyways, my point is this. All right, let's I don't remember my point. Let's go on to what Tim Dillon responded to Tim Pool. Okay, so all right, here. And by the way, when Tim Pool's video came out, literally, it wasn't a minute later. Tim Dillon posted this. Like, literally, I saw it post like 30 seconds or something. First off, take off the beanie. We know you're bald. Instead of responding to any of his points, this obesely gluttonous fat man says, "Ha ha, you're bald." Like, that's his argument. And then he goes on, "Secondly, I'm not canceling half of my tour because people in those states largely agree with something I disagree with." No, that's not true. That's not true, because there's plenty of people in those states that disagree as well and will go see you at a different venue. No one's asking you. No one's asking you to cancel your tours in entire states. They're just asking you to switch venues to support venues that aren't going to segregate. So, and there's tons of them. I'm sure there's tons of other venues in these states that are not planning on segregating, because they're not going to kowtow and bend the knee. That they're not. No one's asking you to cancel in those entire states. They're just saying, hey, switch venues. That's all. Switch venues rather than support Jim Crow segregation. Right? That's all. But anyways, I put out a podcast for free they can listen to. That's stupid, right? And then, by the way, Tim Dillon has a friend. Well, I don't know if you could call him friend, but acquaintance. I thought they were friends. Acquaintance called Dave Smith. And Dave Smith, rather than commenting on this directly, he said something like, dang it, hold on, I gotta turn off this alarm. Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta turn off this alarm. If it's not the dog interrupting me, it's my own thought processes or the damn alarm. It's like 3 times I tried to start this video and somewhat organize it, and the dog just constantly interrupting me. Anyways, back into it. So Dave Smith commented on this kind of indirectly by retweeting, "The problem with blue-pilled libertarians is that they regard freedom as a preference and not a matter of death, not a matter of life and death." And that's basically what Tim Dillon is treating this like, oh, it's a preference. You know, the people in these states largely prefer this, and I'm not. It's like, no, dude, you're completely arguing in bad faith. You're no one is saying cancel in those states. The only thing that's being asked of you is you switch venues and don't support venues that are gonna enact Jim Crow segregation. That's all. That's all that's being asked of you, right? But no, it's just a preference to you. It's not a matter of life or death, and that's Dave Smith didn't comment on directly. He commented on it indirectly by the message of the tweets that he tweeted. But and then, anyways, so back to Tim Dillon, and then he says some more stupid stuff. And then says, oh, well, then you should just only live in the states that completely agree with all of your. It's just more stupid takes. And then whenever he's like needs to like deflect more, what Tim Dillon's classic strategy is to just say the most ridiculous things, right, under the guise of comedy. And sometimes it's funny, sometimes it is hilarious. So I'm not saying, so like Patrice said, the attempt is valid. You have the right to the attempt, and that's all great and everything, but in this case it's clearly obvious he's using this just to deflect, and by saying something completely ridiculous. And then so he says, my politics now align with whatever Lori Lightfoot says, right? Trying to be as ridiculous as possible. And then says, who gives an F about AOC and her dress? What wasted lives you all live. What? Because you comment on this stuff all the time in your podcasts on a weekly basis, so I guess you're talking about yourself. Meghan McCain went to Met Gala in a custom P.F. Chang's inspired gown. Just more ridiculous deflection, right? trying to be funny to deflect in the fact that he's a hypocrite. It's like, okay, you're an hypocrite, and there's sycophants supporting him being a hypocrite, but I've also noticed that there's other fans that actually aren't fake intellectuals and do have reason, good reasoning skills, and can see like, man, yeah, this is messed up, dude. You can't say one thing and then that you can't say you disagree with this and then incongruently, hypocritically still support it by giving them business. Because there's other venues that would love to have you in these states. No one's saying don't go to these states. They're saying when you do go to these states, support the venues that have balls and are willing to take a stand and not support this crap. That's all. Anyways, Tim Dillon, in response to Tim Pool again, because George Carlin came up because George Carlin was like had a lot of good comedy that ruffled feathers, right? And one of George Carlin's so George Carlin was a principled comedian who always stood up for things in his comedy. But anyways, Tim Dillon's used another bald joke, right? Another bald joke, just because Tim Pool likes to wear a hat. I like to wear a hat too, because I'm more comfortable wearing a hat. Because I'm like Asmongold, I'm malding. I'm malding. You know how Asmongold is malding? So I like to wear hats. But anyways, more jokes about Tim Pool's baldness. And then his reiterating the fake argument that, oh, I have fans that want to see me in those states. Well, guess what? They can see you at the venues that are not going to support segregation, right? No one is being forced to go to my show. Well, but still, you're misrepresenting the argument. People in many of those states favor poke mandates. Yeah, so anyways, it's literally like Dave Smith and Michael Malice said, is people like Tim Dillon don't see this as a matter of life and death. They just see it as a matter of preference, right? So it's, and then before I move on, George Carlin had a joke. One of his best jokes was a really long rant about how rigged this country is and how rigged the system is against the 99%, and how the top 1% are in a club, and guess what? You're not in that club. And Tim Dillon and Joe Rogan, they want to be in that club. They want to be in the elite club. They want to get into that elite access club, and that's why they're not willing to take a stand on anything, because they're terrified if they do, they won't get let into the club. That club that Andrew Yang got let into, and AOC got let into, and the other Hollywood elites get let into. They want to be in the club, so taking a stand might jeopardize them getting into the club. So that's why they won't take a stand. And then right after this interaction yesterday, Norm Macdonald died and gave Tim Dillon an out to then spam his wall with RIP Norm Macdonald to bury this because it was making him look bad. So he does a whole bunch of RIP Norm Macdonald, retweeting a whole bunch of other people's stuff, RIP Norm Macdonald. And then at midnight, he says, ha ha, Gavin Newsom wasn't recalled. Because that's Tim Dillon's whole shtick, is Tim Dillon's whole shtick is hedonism, nihilism, nothing matters, gluttonism, ridiculousness, nothing matters, blah blah blah. You know, so whatever. I unsubscribed from Tim Dillon. I honestly enjoy his podcast. I did enjoy his podcast. But he's a funny dude. But he has no principles. And the people that think it's an act, the whole character he plays in his podcast, guess what? It's not. It's not an act. It's not. It's not an act. That's him. That's who he is. Not an act. It's not an act. So, anyways, I'm just gonna be as flippant and dismissive of people as he is, and other people. That's all we can do is just unsubscribe, delete it, and yeet it. And hopefully other people do too, because guess when the times get tough and things get really bad, we're not gonna need hedonist, nihilist, gluttonous clowns like Tim Dillon. We're gonna need principled people that are willing to put their necks out there and take a stand, even if they're gonna take some heat and get backlash and maybe lose some revenue from it. You know, people like Jim Brewer did. And you know, I'm not a huge Tim Pool fan, but I will give him props that like he was willing to put his neck out there and say some things about people like Tim Dillon and Joe Rogan, because that could negatively affect him. And so he's kind of sticking his neck out there. But anyways, this video has already gone on too long. I'm gonna end it there. I just felt really passionate about this, and I just felt like making a video about it. But anyways, on to the next